I thought it was like some crazy torture chamber at first, but there was other truckers that are like,
Here's LaCroix out of the shot too.
oh yeah.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Flosive Floke, Not Most People, the dopest show that's not on TV. And we got a really cool one today. We're here with my man A.T. Callaghan, formerly Trek God of Seattle rap fame.
Yep.
He did something quite interesting. He hitchhiked across the country and he wrote a book about it. I didn't really quite realize like how intense of a journey you went on. So you decided to hitchhike across the country and write a book about it. Tell us about that and like what's like the craziest thing that happened while you were on this odyssey?
So basically, yeah, I decided to hitchhike across the U.S. I knew my goal was to go from New Orleans to Seattle, but I didn't have like a set route in mind. I was just figuring like I want to see things I haven't seen before. And I just moved to the South, so I was like, I want to see Texas, I want to see Oklahoma, like all of this shit that especially growing up in Seattle you hear about, but you have no point of reference to ever seeing. The weirdest thing that ever happened to me on the road was like my first ride. So I'd caught a Greyhound from New Orleans to Lafayette, which is probably like 2 hours away, just because hitchhiking out of New Orleans is like pretty much impossible. So basically I was in Lafayette, and I was like standing at this truck stop, and it probably like 3 hours had gone by, and like no cars. Like people were like I was had my thumb up on the road and people were like giving me the thumbs up back, like flipping me off. This little dude pulls up, like right as I'm about to call it quits, like my morale is low. This little dude pulls up, he has like a beat up blue Mazda, a Honduran flag sticker in place of a license plate, and like a bashed back window. So he pulls up, so I tighten my backpack, like sprint up to the car, and then this dude just like hops out real fast. And he was the shortest dude I've ever seen in my life. Like on his tippy toes, like his eyes were at my like belly button level. With his hair slicked back, wearing like a True Religion denim jacket, bedazzled with gemstones. He looked like a roofie salesman, straight up. He spoke like no English, but he spoke enough for me to realize that he was a migrant farm worker working in Lafayette on like a seasonal visa, and that he wires all of his money back to his family on the outskirts of Honduras. So I was like, this dude sounds kind of interesting. Like, so I hop in the car. Dude is dead quiet for like 45 minutes. Out of nowhere, he breaks the silence. He goes like, so man, do you like movies? Like very vague. And I'm like, yeah, movies are sick, you know? And then he was like, do you like porn? And I was like, yeah, like I like porn. I was just like, you know, cool guy bantering with this random dude.
That's like the worst conversation I feel like you could have. Hitchhiking is like the guy you picked up talking about poverty.
Right out the gate with the porn. So right as I say I like porn, that was like the green light for him. Dude hits like a 5-lane exit. You know, five-lane merge toward the highway exit, like goes off, and I'm like, yo, where the fuck are we going, bro? And he's like, oh, we're taking a shortcut. In my mind, I'm like, this dude is so small. I kind of like sussed the car out a little bit. He had no weapons on him. So I was like, if anything, I could just fling him out the window and drive myself the rest of the way if it got cracking. So we start driving on this, it was pretty much like an overgrown cane field, like probably like a quarter mile away from the freeway. It was kind of like a tunnel surrounded by green, like stalks were like smacking the windshield, and it's kind of like at the light at the end of this tunnel I can make out like a barn house. It was like a refurbished red barn house that I saw. So we get there, right, and he pulls out back, and I thought it was like some crazy torture chamber at first, but there was other truckers there. Like there's probably like
a gangbang.
I thought it was I didn't know, man. I was just so excited to be on the road that I didn't, like, no red flags were going off. I was just like, fuck it, this is the little homie. I was bigger than him. I was like, it's gonna be cool, bro. Like, hitchhiking lifestyle.
It's like Louisiana Chainsaw Massacre.
It felt like that. So then we park. You know, we go up to the door, these towering barn doors. There's like a buzzer box wired to an overhead surveillance camera. He like puts in this code, it's like, bzzzt, and then the doors open automatically. And you walk in, and it's just like this echo chamber of like Cajun banter. Like, it was like, yeah! It was like some crazy shit. And there was this circular table, and they were just kind of like, you know, chilling, like listening to Zydeco music, like playing games, playing poker and shit. And there was this like lady sitting at the front. She had like a black eye. And I was like, this is fucking weird. But they weren't having like, any like threatening body language. I was like, it must be cool. So then the Honduran dude says to one of the truckers, he's like, yo, can I have 2 tickets, please? So he pays for both of us to get inside this theater room in the back of the barn. So imagine a dark theater room, and there's porn being projected onto a wooden wall, and there's about 12 chairs, and about half of them are seated by truckers who are just masturbating furiously. It was a trucker porn barn where they would stop during their routes and just jerk off. So I sat in the corner chair like furthest from anybody else. I was like, I'm gonna mind my own business. I want to do my own thing here. And so the
You wanted
Honduran
to jerk
dude.
off?
No, I didn't want to
Because when
jerk
in
off.
Rome, you know, I've been to a booth before.
The Honduran dude sits down right next to me, and he puts his hand on my leg, and he just goes like, "Big dick man." Like somebody was like, "Big dick man," and I was like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "Don't be ashamed. Like we can do this shit together." And so he leans back in, starts like getting close to my neck and shit. So I don't know why I said this. This is not something I would ever say in my life. But I jumped up. It was like a moment of primal intensity. I was like, "I'm not fucking gay, bro." Like, you know, and I was like, why did I say that? But it's like the only thing that I thought I could do to get out of the situation was to seem like some just like.
Did everyone look at you all crazy?
Yeah, the truckers were looking at me like
record scratch, just like.
It was weird. And so I thought he'd be mad. But he looks at me, he's like, "What do you mean?" Then he made it clear to me that the truck stop where he originally picked me up was like a prostitute known for being like a gay prostitute pickup spot. And it was so weird. Like, he was just like, "So why were you standing there?" And I was like, "Oh, I was like trying to hitchhike." And he just started kind of laughing. He was like, "Why?" And I was like, "I just want to explore the country." And after that, he was actually mad cool. Like, we just hopped back in the car and he drove me back to the truck stop. And I was like, "See ya, bro."
So it ended up being chill. There was a miscommunication.
I think he might have thought it'd be incriminating for him to say something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he probably thought that if he was like, "Yo, you're a prostitute, right?" That like that might like that he couldn't
might
say
get
that.
spooked, you might get screwed.
Or if I was a cop, I don't know what he thought, but he should have made it pretty clear when he first picked me up that he thought that I was.
I think that's sort of like, you know, road etiquette. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it must have been.
I'm sure you have a lot of stories, and that's why you got to get the book. It's called All Gas, No Brakes, to hear these other stories. But did you ask for money ever? Did you do any begging?
No, I didn't really do any begging, but there's a lot of tricks to make money on the road.
Like you did with Roberto and.
No, not like turning tricks. There was no turning tricks.
What's one of the tricks you learned on the road to make money?
Almost every hotel in America offers a complimentary breakfast for hotel guests, especially on the road, especially those side of the road motels.
It's called the Continental Breakfast.
Continental breakfast, right? Their procedures for kind of vetting who's actually a guest and who's like a weirdo paleo road soldier is actually pretty low. So what I would often do is I would, you know, sort of like a pajama looking fit on, like maybe go to Goodwill, get some Batman pajamas or something like that, and you just walk into the lobby, stash your backpack outside, you know, walk into the lobby just yawning, like someone just woke up,
like smoke a cigarette, came back in.
woke up, there's breakfast here? And walk in, and if you have a Tupperware, just pile that bitch with loose sausages and hash browns and pineapples. There's so much shit you can get from hotel breakfast.
So people could tell you were homeless.
At that point, but not in the sense of gutter punk. Like, no one thought I was like some like nomad from Port Townsend.
Why are they all from Port Townsend?
They're all gutter punks are from Port Townsend.
Every gutter punk is from Port Townsend. When I went to New Orleans, you see like these people and they all look like hillbillies. They got and they're playing their banjo and they're singing some like real old-timey southern music. Like, you think there must be from like the hills or something in like Mississippi. I don't know if there's hills in Mississippi. You think they're from like, I don't know, West Virginia or something. And you're like, "Oh no, I dropped out of Evergreen. I'm from Port Townsend and now I just like play the whiskey jug." You also, me and you have something in common. We're both Caucasian rappers from the Seattle area. Former. So is that something, why'd you stop rapping?
It's just corny.
Same.
Start from the back with a mouth for the catch young track, yeah, tastes like dollars.
Hitchhiking is the new rapping.
So this book, the book is called All Gas, No Brakes, and I have a copy, and I left it at my aunt's house at dinner last night. So here we are without a copy to show you, but Vintage Ty is going to superimpose an image of it right here for you to see. And it's going to be available in a lot of stores all over the country.
In Seattle, you can buy the book at Art Primo and also Left Bank Books at Pike Place Market.
Ooh, nice.
In New Orleans, you can buy it at Defend New Orleans, all locations. And you can also buy it online at allgasnobrakes.bigcartel.com.
And there'll be a link in the About section of this video. If you thought the stories you heard on this little joint was like crazy, the whole book is like, there's a ton of different crazy stories. It's really sick.
And I forgot to tell you, I'm actually leaving Seattle in 3 days to hitchhike back to New Orleans. It's gonna be like 20 days.
You're leaving in 3 days to hitchhike again.
Yeah.
Are you gonna bring a camera this time?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna do a little more documentation this time around.
There's a question to ask everyone.
Okay.
Favorite rapper?
My favorite rapper of all time is Nas. Yeah. And my favorite rapper rapping right now is probably Lil Tracy.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm here with A.T. Callaghan. You get his book, All Gas, No Brakes. Thank you so much for having him. Follow him on Instagram at Andrew.me.
Yeah, Andrew with 2 W's.me.
Like I said, like, subscribe, comment. We're coming out with new dope content every week. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
A few feet away from me, I watched a sweaty man go at it. After 30 seconds of rapid-fire wrist pumping, he rolled his eyes back into his head.
So what do you think of A.T. Callaghan's book, All Gas No Brakes?
Shout out to the fucking little short guy in the porno theater. Let's link up, bro. That's all I gotta say. I mean, the thing about like, you know, like jacking off, like, is like, you know what you want and you know how to handle that. And like, if you got a buddy there, like, you guys can like, you know, constructive criticism and shit. Like, there's no better feeling than like getting that real like compliment from your bro. Like, damn, bro, that was a good ass rope. That was a good rope.